What do you think's more dangerous for children, going to drag shows or guns?
Your drag shows, if you ask me, yeah. Kids can own guns legitimately, use them the right way.
Right.
But drag shows, it's just horrible.
But do you think drag shows put them in more danger than a gun?
Well, it's going to change their lives, sure. Never happened. I didn't go to them when I was they weren't around when I was young. So,
Right.
yeah, I don't believe in it.
But a drag show probably wouldn't kill somebody.
No, it wouldn't kill anybody. No.
We're living in an era of rising homophobia, and the anti-gay, anti-trans rhetoric of Republicans at every level is more than just offensive to the ear. Too often, that language of otherization and exclusion becomes a justification for violence against the LGBTQ community. That clip from The Good Liars shines a light on a growing trend. Thanks to constant Republican fear-mongering, many Americans on the right now view the LGBTQ community as more dangerous than guns. And with a mindset like that, it's no surprise that some Republicans believe drastic measures are justified. This isn't a crisis we can ignore. Since September 24th, the LGBTQ advocacy group GLAAD has recorded nearly a dozen incidents of violence or threats against the gay community. That includes the right-wing street gang the Proud Boys threatening attendees at a drag bingo night, and neo-Nazis threatening to beat drag queens and attendees at a brunch in Pflugerville, Texas. And earlier this month, the FBI arrested a Massachusetts woman for phoning in a bomb threat against the Boston Children's Hospital. They say she was inspired by the online account Libs of TikTok, which has gained huge popularity on the right for accusing children's hospitals of grooming young children into gay lifestyles. In Texas, the war on the LGBTQ community is reaching a fever pitch, and incidents of violence and harassment are already on the rise, with the tacit consent of Texas Republicans. Earlier this year, the Texas GOP added a plank to their party platform. It calls gays abnormal and rejects trans identities as mental illness. And let's stay in Texas nightmare land for a little bit longer, because Governor Greg Abbott is getting ready to unleash the state on what he considers Texas's most dangerous threat: trans kids. Take a look.
Some wild news out of Texas. Agents from Texas Child Welfare Agency told a federal court that Governor Greg Abbott's order to investigate trans kids has brought the agency to the brink of collapse after 2,000 agents resigned in the past year alone rather than break up loving families. It's good to know that there are sane people in these agencies that care enough for the LGBTQ community, but to know that Abbott is leading in the polls over O'Rourke for governor of Texas is horrible.
It's a good sign that so many agents have resigned rather than traumatize trans children, but we can't continue to depend on unelected agents to do the morally right thing. It's up to us to change the elected decision makers who are implementing this reign of terror on children, not just in Texas, but across the country. The reason for all of this hateful rhetoric is simple. If you believe that your children are in imminent risk of being stolen away by the sinister gay cabal, you'd be willing to do anything to protect them, including acts of violence. And that's just fine for Republicans, who are increasingly holding these lunatics up as patriotic heroes. And after what seems like forever, Democrats in Washington are finally getting the message. Here's Senator Chuck Schumer talking about the GOP's efforts to stall a vote protecting same-sex marriage.
The MAGA Republicans are taking over the Republican Party. And they've made it abundantly clear they're not satisfied with repealing Roe. So when some Republicans say, oh, a vote's unnecessary, it won't happen, they said the same thing about Roe. And here's where we are. So we had a very good conversation today in our caucus about marriage equality. We all want to pass this quickly.
The situation has gotten so bad that even gay Republicans are admitting that they have failed to bring their party around on the basic issue of respecting human dignity. After decades of fighting for reforms, gay Republicans are now abandoning the party in droves, as much for their own safety as for the safety of their communities. This is a problem that existed long before Donald Trump, and keeping Trump out of the White House in 2024 will not solve this crisis. Voters must mobilize and send a clear message that this otherization and hate has no place in our politics, and its practitioners have no place in public service. Time is running out. If you made it to the end, thank you so much for watching. Please leave a like and consider subscribing. And leave a comment below so you can let me know what I should cover next.